The sun is sinking low over the Caspian Sea. From the waterfront boulevard, you can see the three giant flame towers flicker to life, sheets of glass and steel reflecting the last gold of the day. Just below them, centuries-old stone walls wrap around Baku's old city, holding in stories of caravan traders, silk merchants, and poets long gone. The air smells faintly of salt and roasted chestnuts. Somewhere behind you, a muezzin's voice rises from a 12th century minaret, calling the faithful to prayer, while in the opposite direction, a young woman in red lipstick and a silk scarf steps into a high-end cafe, the door chiming softly. Baku doesn't fit neatly into a single frame. One moment it feels like Dubai's younger, more refined cousin. The next, it's a quiet European port city where old men play backgammon in the shade. Luxury SUVs glide down immaculate boulevards while, in the back streets, tea is still poured from heavy silver pots into small, tulip-shaped glasses. This is Azerbaijan, oil-rich, Muslim-majority, and yet unmistakably its own, a place where ancient and modern don't just sit side by side, they lean on each other. And for a foreign man, it's a city full of contradictions and quiet surprises waiting to be explored. 1. Geographic and political overview between Russia, Iran, and the Caspian. Azerbaijan sits in a fascinating, sometimes precarious corner of the world. To the north, Russia; to the south, Iran; to the west, Armenia and Georgia; and to the east, an endless horizon of water, the Caspian Sea, the largest enclosed body of water on Earth. Once part of the Soviet Union, Azerbaijan declared independence in 1991, and in just over 3 decades, it has transformed itself from a tired, gray industrial port into one of the most visually striking capitals in the region. The country's wealth and its political stability flow directly from the oil and gas under its feet. For decades, the ruling Aliyev family has steered the country through cautious modernization. While it's officially a Muslim-majority nation, Azerbaijan's government is secular, its laws shaped as much by its Soviet past as by religion. Tourism is still relatively young here, which means foreigners are noticed, sometimes with curiosity, sometimes with warmth. And it's this blend, the geopolitical crossroad, the stability, and the modern ambitions, that gives Azerbaijan a strangely magnetic pull for the outsider. 2. Culture, religion, and history. A Silk Road. So the DNA of Azerbaijan is woven from centuries of trade, conquest, and storytelling. This was once a Silk Road outpost, where caravans laden with spices, silk, and jewels stopped to rest before crossing deserts or mountains. Persians, Turks, Russians, and Arabs all left their mark in language, architecture, and food. Religion here is Islam, but in a notably moderate form. You'll see women in hijabs and women in designer jeans walking the same streets. Mosques share city blocks with wine bars. Faith is present, but personal, public life feels more secular than many might expect in this part of the world. Hospitality is a point of pride. Guests are offered tea, always black, always in pear-shaped glasses, often with sugar cubes or jam. Meals are communal, and toasting, especially with local wine or vodka, is a cultural art form. Baku's old city, Echirashehir, still carries the scent of history, narrow stone alleys, carved wooden balconies, and the iconic Maiden Tower rising against the skyline. Just outside the city, prehistoric rock carvings in Gobistan tell of life here thousands of years before oil rigs appeared. On the horizon, here, history isn't hidden behind glass, it's stitched into the rhythm of daily life. 3. Beauty and personality of women. The Eastern European look with Eastern grace. For many men visiting Azerbaijan, one of the first things they notice and remember is the women. In Baku, there's a striking blend of features: the sharp cheekbones and fair skin you might associate with Eastern Europe, mixed with the dark, almond-shaped eyes and softer lines of the Middle East. It's a combination that can stop you mid-sentence. Style here is deliberate. In this city, many women dress with a polished, almost Parisian flair, high heels clicking across marble sidewalks, perfectly styled hair, tailored coats, designer. Handbags are common, though always carried with a certain understated elegance. Outside the capital, in smaller towns, you'll find more modest dress, patterned scarves, long skirts, but still an unmistakable pride in appearance. Personality-wise, Azerbaijani women can seem reserved at first. This is not a place where strangers strike up deep conversations in the street. But once trust is built, warmth flows easily. Family is central and loyalty runs deep. Many women are well-educated, career-focused, and speak multiple languages, yet also take pride in traditional roles, cooking, hosting, creating a warm home. For a foreign man, dating is possible, but it's not casual. Public displays of affection are rare, and relationships often move with a deliberate pace. Respect for her family, and her culture is non-negotiable. In return, the connection can be rich and the bond strong. Azerbaijani beauty isn't just in appearance, it's in the grace of movement, the way eyes linger when they're interested, and the quiet confidence carried in a society that blends East and West every single day. 4. Beauty and personality of women. The Eastern European look with Eastern grace. Step onto a boulevard in Baku, and you'll notice it instantly. Azerbaijani women carry a look that turns heads quietly, not loudly. There's something in their features, the high cheekbones and sharp jawlines reminiscent of Eastern Europe, softened by the warm, almond eyes and fuller lips of the Middle East. In the city, many dress with cosmopolitan elegance, fitted coats, cinched at the waist, high heels clicking on polished sidewalks, hair perfectly styled, a leather handbag swinging lightly at their side. It's sophistication without the need to shout for attention. But step into the smaller towns or countryside and the scene shifts. Here, beauty is framed by traditional scarves, long skirts, and a softer rhythm of life. Many still carry themselves with a quiet dignity, eyes that meet yours just long enough to acknowledge you before retreating into modesty. Personality-wise, they are warm once the ice is broken, but that ice exists. Family ties run deep and trust isn't given lightly. Hospitality is an art here, and Azerbaijani women will feed you until you can't move, pouring endless tea while making sure you feel like an honored guest. The younger generation blends tradition with ambition. Many are university educated, career-minded, and speak multiple languages. For a respectful foreign man, dating is possible, but patience is the price of entry. Public displays of affection are minimal, and family approval is more than a formality. Earn that trust, and you'll find depth and loyalty that's rare anywhere. 5. Daily life, cleanliness, attitudes, order in the chaos. Baku has a way of surprising you. For a city that blends Europe, the Middle East, and Central Asia, it's strikingly clean. Wide boulevards are swept daily, flower beds meticulously kept, and litter is rare even in busy districts. Early mornings bring the smell of fresh bread from corner bakeries, and by midday, the parks are alive with life. Old men hunch over chessboards, families strolling under the shade of plane trees, teenagers taking selfies against the Caspian Sea. People are polite, but reserved at first. A nod, a quiet salam, and then they move on, until you've shared a few cups of tea. Tea houses are the real social hubs, where conversations stretch for hours and plates of sweets disappear as fast as they arrive. Daily life here moves between modern convenience and old-world tradition. You can have fast internet, ride an air-conditioned metro, and shop in glittering malls, but just a few streets away, you can haggle over spices in a centuries-old bazaar, or join a family for a home-cooked feast. It's a place where order exists, but life still flows with a human touch. 6. Cost of living, wages, apartments, oil wealth versus local reality. Azerbaijan's oil wealth shows in Baku's skyline, glass towers and designer boutiques, but the cost of living tells a more nuanced story. For a foreigner earning in dollars or euros, the city is surprisingly affordable. A modern one-bedroom apartment in the city center runs around $500 to $700 a month, often with sweeping Caspian views. Utilities are low, and groceries, if bought at local markets, can keep your monthly bill under $150. Dining out ranges widely. $5 buys you a hearty plate of plov at a family cafe, while $30 gets you fine dining in a restaurant overlooking the Flame Towers. Public transport is cheap and reliable. Taxes are a fraction of Western prices, and fuel, thanks to oil reserves, is almost shockingly inexpensive. Local wages, however, are modest. Many Azerbaijanis live on $300 to $500 a month, which means the city's luxury is often out of reach for them. The glitzy apartments and high-rises are filled by oil executives, diplomats, or foreigners, while most locals reside in more modest flats. For someone arriving with a remote income, the balance is ideal. You can enjoy a high standard of living without spending recklessly. Just remember, beneath the polished surface lies a country where wealth is concentrated, and everyday life for locals is more humble than it first appears. 7. Nightlife, fun, alcohol, music, from jazz bars to Caspian nights. Baku after dark is not wild in the way of Berlin or Bangkok. It's refined, measured, and quietly seductive. The streets are bathed in a golden glow from ornate street lamps, and the Caspian Sea reflects the shimmering lights of the Flame Towers like liquid fire. If you're looking for music, you'll find it in smoky jazz bars tucked into old stone basements where Azerbaijan's unexpected love affair with jazz still thrives. Rooftop lounges offer panoramic views, the sea on one side, the illuminated city on the other, while shisha bars buzz with groups of friends sharing flavored smoke and stories. Alcohol is legal and available in restaurants, bars, and hotels, but it's consumed with discretion. You won't see wild street parties. Instead, think crafted cocktails in a dimly lit bar or a glass of local wine paired with live mugham, the haunting traditional music that seems to stretch across centuries. We can see locals and couples strolling the Caspian Boulevard, hand in hand, as rollerbladers weave between families and street performers. And sometimes the best nights aren't in public at all. They're in small gatherings at home, where tea replaces beer and conversation flows until the early hours. In Baku, nightlife isn't about excess, it's about atmosphere. And if you know where to look, it can be every bit as intoxicating as the strongest drink. 8. Safety, social freedom, laws, respect, and awareness. For the most part, Azerbaijan, and especially Baku, is very safe for visitors. You can walk along the seafront late at night without fear, and violent crime against foreigners is rare. That said, crowded bazaars and public transport can attract pickpockets, so keep your valuables close. The laws lean conservative. Public drunkenness is frowned upon, and getting into arguments, especially with locals, can land you in serious trouble. Drugs are absolutely off limits. Possession carries severe penalties. Dress codes are relaxed in cosmopolitan Baku, but in smaller towns or when visiting mosques, modesty is expected. Long trousers for men, covered shoulders for both sexes, and a respectful demeanor. Social freedoms exist, but there are unspoken rules. Public displays of affection are rare, and dating a local woman often involves winning not just her heart, but also her family's approval. Patience, sincerity, and respect will open doors that arrogance never will. Political demonstrations are best avoided. As a foreigner, it's not your fight. Follow the local rhythm, blend in rather than stand out, and you'll find Azerbaijan to be one of the most comfortable and secure countries to explore in the region. When you first arrive, Azerbaijan can feel like a study in contrasts. Oil-rich skyscrapers standing over cobblestone alleys, designer boutiques next to spice-laden bazaars. But after weeks here, you begin to see the threads that tie it all together. It's in the way shopkeepers remember your name after a single visit, the way a waiter insists you try a dessert on the house just because you're new to the city. It's in the sea breeze off the Caspian on a quiet evening, carrying the scent of salt and grilled kebabs. The people here carry a quiet pride in their history, their hospitality, their resilience. And though the language, the alphabet, and the customs may be different, a smile bridges it all. One night, you'll stand on the promenade, the moon hanging low over the water, the faint sound of a distant violin drifting through the air. A passerby will nod and greet you with salam. In that small moment, you'll feel not like a tourist, but like a welcome guest. Azerbaijan isn't just a place you visit, it's a place that stays with you long after your plane takes off over the Caspian. And sometimes that's the real journey.